Hey YouTube, Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. You can hear my voice is still a little rough, but we're going to go ahead anyway. I wanted to give you my first impressions on this knife. This is the Viper Fortis. Now, I have been interested in and following the Vox Viper collabs for some time. They had the Odino and the Kiyomi. Both are pretty cool little knives. I have handled them and the quality is great. The design is cool, but just too small for me. So when at SHOT Show this year, 2016, Viper started talking about this knife, which would be a larger size. I was like, hey, that is really cool. With a great deal of anticipation, I was awaiting the release of this knife, and it was a long wait. As you know, SHOT Show comes early in the year, and here we are almost at the end of the year, and finally this knife is available to the public. So a bit of a wait on that, and some places still don't have them, but if you're waiting and you're interested, I'm sure your favorite retailer will be carrying them fairly shortly. I will say this about this knife. One of the things that really stands out to me, I'll get the box out of the way there. One of the things that stands out to me is just the quality and materials that you're getting for the price point. These are retailing for, like 175 bucks, which for M390 and a full titanium frame lock is pretty good, especially a well done titanium frame lock. I know there are some really budget ones out there, like the Maxpedition Excelsior or the Ontario Carter Prime or a few others. But this is very well done. It's certainly on a par with stuff from ZT or other sort of higher end makers or manufacturers. And it's coming in at a really aggressive price point. Plus, with M390 steel, I don't know of anything off the top of my head outside of maybe, the recently reviewed M3 Megalodon, or the recent overview of the Megalodon that has M390 at a good price point as well. So really, really well done on that front, sort of the value front. Now that we've kind of gotten all that stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the features and specs on this. So overall, 8¼ inches, which you guys know is kind of close to where I like my knives to be. 3½ inch blade, 4¾ inch handle, and around 5 ounces. It's right in that ballpark. So pretty comfortable. It's also quite thin, a little under ½ inch, so very comfortable to carry in pocket. And that is a bit of a departure for these Vox collabs, right? Normally these are kind of short, fat little knives, and certainly the blade on this one still kind of shares that. But the handle is much thinner and therefore more comfortable to carry in pocket, which is definitely appreciated. So let's go ahead and start with the blade and just kind of quickly work our way through the features. So M390 steel, very thick piece, crown spine, which is a really nice touch. Anyone who's had to do some ongoing work with your knife, finer stuff, will really appreciate that. It's a full flat grind, and so it starts out quite thick here at the spine, but it is very thin behind the edge, which is something I really, really appreciate. So this slices really, really nicely. The belly, which is typical on these Vox collabs, is of course rather aggressive. I don't know if that's the right word, but you can see that it's a very substantial belly and not a super pointy knife because of that. And that actually works really well for a lot of things where you can use that belly in this kind of a slicing motion to do a lot of cutting tasks. The pivot on this is a ball bearing pivot, and it's actually quite smooth, although out of box it was a little rough. I did have to clean it up a little bit, and once I cleaned it a little, that pivot is very, very, very smooth now. And I've been trying, before making this video, I went ahead and tried, to kind of do a light flip and see if I could get this to fail on me. And although when I first got it out of box, it would fail sometimes, after a little bit of cleaning, it never has any issues. So I think that was just a matter of a little bit of dirt and grime messing with the action on those bearings. Lockup is very good. Deployment is very good. I can't say as much now as I'll be able to when I get to the full review, but there is a stainless steel lock bar insert with an over travel stop incorporated, and certainly we like that and essentially expect it at this point in time. The handle is definitely got lots of real estate, which I do appreciate, and is quite comfortable in hand. Let's turn our attention down here to the other end where we've got an anodized backspacer, fairly large lanyard hole, and a titanium milled or a milled titanium clip. This is really well done. Notice that this is fairly thin, so it does go in and out of pocket very comfortably. And of course, you've got that nice anodizing. So stonewash finish on the whole handle. That is one thing I will say about this knife is it's fairly consistent in terms of being all stonewashed. There may be a few of you out there, and certainly I would consider this myself, who would say, hey, let's do some kind of anodization work on that handle, because this does come in at a reasonable price point. By the way, it's also available in a few different colors of G10 and carbon fiber. I was most interested in the full tie version. So anyway, there you go. That's sort of all of the features and specs on this. Now, lastly, let me just say sort of my overall take on this knife is very well built, very budget conscious folder, really interesting design. And if you're a fan of Vox's designs, you'll probably like this. And it comes in at a really nice size where it's not too big, it's not too small, it carries nicely in pocket, and all of that at a very nice price point. These go for like $175, which, you know, as mentioned earlier, is pretty good for the materials that you're getting. There you go, guys. Go ahead, like and subscribe. I've got a few more of these first impressions videos coming out in the next 2 days. So yeah, if you don't want to miss them, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will talk to you soon.